So when you talk about Emacs, you can't help but talk about control and meta. What are control and meta? These are basically just command keys. If in the lower right corner, I've got keycaster set up, so I'll show you, kind of what these means. Control and A means press the control button and A simultaneously, and you'll get a caret like that. Meta is a key that exists in Linux, but doesn't necessarily always exist in a Mac or a Windows environment. You can remap keys to meta, which we'll show in a second. But basically, here is what meta looks like. It's like a different kind of symbol. Here, for your reference again, that's what control looks like, and this is what meta looks like, or meta D rather. If I show control U7, I mean something like this. If I show control C, control E, I mean something like that, right? So that's a sequence of hitting these keys. And in order to use Emacs Bash and screen maximum efficiency, you're going to be hitting control all the time and meta fairly frequently. So you're going to want to make this more accessible. On Windows, there's a link here to a keyboard remapper that you want to consider using. Lifehacker has a whole article on this, and you can take a look at this. And you can remap the keys to whatever Windows keyboard you have. There's a wide amount of variation here, so just pick something that's comfortable for you. But the most important thing you want to do when you're doing this remapping is map caps lock back to control, because you're hitting this all the time, and it's a really crucial bit of real estate over here for your left pinky to have access to the control key. On a Mac, things are fairly straightforward because everything's in the same place on most Macs. What you want to do is go to keyboard preferences, or first terminal preferences, then keyboard preferences. Within terminal preferences, you want to select use option as meta key as shown over here. Within keyboard preferences, which is a different screen, you want to swap caps lock and control for sure, because most people almost never use caps lock. And if you really want to, use Emacs a lot, I'd even recommend swapping these two. In theory, there should be a way that you can only swap these two within Emacs and not, globally. In practice, I haven't been able to get that to work. There's some weirdnesses with the version of Emacs that works on a Mac. In general, you get used to this pretty fast, for general navigation. But the reason that you want to do this switch is if the option key is next to the space bar, you will work a lot faster in Emacs, whereas if you have to kind of navigate over to it, it's a little more difficult. And you can recognize that if you just take a look at what a keyboard looks like. So let's look at an example of that. Okay, so that's really the summary about keyboard shortcuts and control and meta keys. This is really the thing to keep in mind when we say control A or meta D or control U7 or control C, control E. It corresponds to these sorts of keyboard sequences. So given this, and given that we've got control and meta set up, now let's actually install Emacs.